Inside Huntsville with Brenda Martin, a conversation with department heads at City Hall on streets, ball fields, public safety, and more. And also with our community partners that add economic security, support education, and enhance the city's quality of life.
Hello, I'm Brenda Martin with Inside Huntsville, and thanks for joining me today. The City of Huntsville operates under a mayor-council form of government as defined by the Mayor-Council Act of the state of Alabama. The City Council is the legislative branch of the Huntsville city government. All official actions must be approved by a majority vote of the City Council during its regular meetings on the second and fourth Thursday of each month. There are 5 City Council districts, and today I have the distinct pleasure of speaking with Councilwoman Dr. Jennie Robinson, who represents District 3. Dr. Robinson, thank you so much for coming and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Brenda.
This is exciting. I've been wanting to interview you now for some time, so we finally got here. Let's talk about Jennie Robinson. Who are you? And give us a little background.
Well, I was an Army brat, so I grew up traveling all over. We did 2 tours in Germany with my dad, and then largely in the western part of the United States. I graduated from the University of Utah with my undergraduate degree and then went to Purdue University where I got my master's and my doctorate. Met my husband while I was there. He was also working on his doctorate. And then Huntsville, Alabama was the only place in the universe that we could both get jobs. I came to teach at the university and he came to work for Lockheed. All 5 of our kids have been born here and we've stayed.
Wonderful. You have 5 wonderful children,
We
huh?
do. 2 of them live here in Huntsville. 1 is at the University of Alabama, and 2 live out west in California and Arizona.
Well, now, listen, prior to your election to the Huntsville City Council in 2014, it was, I believe, you served 3 terms on the school board.
Did, 12 years.
And you obviously have a heart for serving.
I do.
Serving the public, serving your community. Talk more about that.
Well, before being elected to the school board, I served 5 times as a PTA president because all 5 of my children deserve to be embarrassed equally.
Okay, I understand that.
So I think my service probably started there. I saw the needs in our schools.
Yeah.
I saw the needs that our teachers and our students, I saw the needs that our parents had for representation. And so I decided that parents needed a voice on the school board, and so I ran as a parent. Mm-hmm. And the first election in 2002 was the best election I had because it was uncontested.
Okay.
So that was wonderful.
And that's on the school board
on
you're
the
talking?
school board,
Okay.
on the school board in 2002, and so I began simply with a desire to serve. And then as I served on the school board, I saw the relationship between the city and the schools and the impact the schools had on the growth of the city. And so that led to an interest in continuing that service on a broader scale on the city council, and ran in 2014 and had the honor of again, serving in that capacity.
And winning that
Yeah,
seat.
it was exciting.
Did you have any opposition there?
I did. We had 2 folks run against me. I actually went to a runoff because it was a vacant seat. John Olszewski had vacated it, and you know, with open seat always draws lots of interest.
Yes.
So we did have 2 elections: the regular election and then the runoff.
And then the runoff. Okay. Do you see? Is there a difference between the various boards of government? Is that right?
Huge difference. The governance structure of school boards, and most people don't know this, is set by statute, and it's not just in Alabama, it's in many states. The school board has no authority other than to approve or disapprove, vote up or vote down, the recommendations of the superintendent. It was with great delight then I found out with City Council, not only can I bring a motion to the table, I can amend a motion, I can take action on my own. On the school board, if someone called with a complaint about a school, a principal, a teacher, a whatever, or a need, I know exactly which department head to go to. Our department heads, by the way, are fabulous. And I will call them and make a request and action will be taken. I can initiate actions on my own, for instance, creating the South Huntsville Business Association.
Sure.
Or holding town hall meetings. It's a very different world.
So you feel, your feeling on that is what?
There is a sense of effectiveness.
Okay.
And action, empowerment. so that I feel like I can really go and do some things, and I've taken full advantage of that, have some pretty clear plans of some things I want to see happen, and we're making really good progress on
And really make a difference.
Oh yeah, and make a
difference.
genuine sense of
Yes,
being able
yes,
to do
yes.
that.
Each district is different, and each district has its own personality. Talk about District 3.
Well, I recently saw a market study that was done of the label that they use for that market segment in South Huntsville is comfortable empty nesters. And that really describes well myself and my neighbors.
And me.
You know, again, all five of our kids were born in South Huntsville. They all went to school in South Huntsville, graduated from Grissom High School, and my husband and I, they've been gone for a couple of years now, and my husband and I have stayed, and we have no intention of having more children or moving. So, but that's so many people who know that South Huntsville is a great place, easy access to the Arsenal, to downtown, the great businesses, and we're happy and we're staying. So we have an aging population, we have aging neighborhoods. And so those create some unique challenges, but because we have a high median income in South Huntsville, it also creates tremendous opportunities. So we're hoping to leverage those. Now, one of the things I've seen is that we've had the growth of a lot of senior housing developments in South Huntsville. We had one, Thrive, opened just recently on Carl T. Jones. And so that gives those folks who want to stay in the neighborhood because they're close to doctors, they're close to the grandkids, they're close to their church, they're close to the shopping that they know.
It's the neighborhood they're used to.
It's and as people age, they are less comfortable driving longer distances. So they want to stay in that neighborhood, but the house may be too big, or it's 3 stories, or so they're going to have to find someplace else to go. Can move into these affordable senior developments. Some of them actually are higher end. Can stay in the neighborhood, and that frees up housing stock then for young families to move in. We're particularly seeing that in the Bailey Cove area, where young families are moving in to the houses down there. In my neighborhood at the bottom of Green Mountain, we've seen people doing infill projects where they'll tear down a house and rebuild. And so we're starting to see those neighborhoods turning over as people age out, move to other areas, and young families come in.
And I would imagine these young people are excited about the new school that's coming.
Oh, well, and that's
bringing in
the new Grissom is created. Well, we have the new Whitesburg also, and that's one reason why the Bailey Cove area is starting to grow with these young families. There's the new Whitesburg P8 has opened, and then Grissom is going to open in 2017. We've seen tremendous interest in Grissom, and the realtors are very aware of it. One realtor called Grissom a game changer, and it really will change the face of South Huntsville, and as new families come in, really a sense of energy and vitality.
As you talk about these facilities for the seniors, there's one that's going up right behind Sam's. Can you speak to that?
It's actually already been built.
Is it?
And we were having a conversation about that last night with some people. It's affordable senior housing built by Neighborhood Concepts. They've done a couple of other projects in town. It is really a very nice development. Already has some people moving in, and it's that kind of a development that we're going to need that provides our seniors an option where they can stay in South Huntsville and be close to the people they love and the places they know.
1, 2, 3 bedrooms, or do you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I think 2 to 3 bedrooms based on the other projects that they've done.
Great, great, great. There's a lot going on in District 3.
There is.
Okay. What are you most excited about?
There are 5 projects that I'm watching
Five
very closely. 5, and they're all big. And they're all going to come together about the same time. One we've talked about, and that's Grissom, the relocation of Grissom High School. As Grissom relocates, it will bring a lot of energy to the area behind Sam's. We've already begun the process of extending the road back there. Weatherly Road now wraps around, becomes Hazeland Road. I had some meetings just yesterday that will extend, and we've approved the engineering contract to extend that road all the way down to Redstone Road. So now we've opened up an entirely new opportunity back there for residential development and commercial development. So the development, that new development, new residential development, particularly hundreds of homes that could go in there, will be huge for that area. So the Grissom redevelopment and the resulting work that's being done over there is the first project. The second is, what do we put in the old Grissom site?
Yes.
That will become, and that was a conversation Dr. Wardinsky and I had when he talked about moving Grissom across the parkway. I said, you don't get my vote until you tell me what's going in there, and don't tell me it's going to be a for sale sign, because nobody wants to buy old school buildings. So we immediately began working on a contract with the city to redevelop that property. And it's going to become a community center. The theater is going to, the auditorium is going to be kept. It's going to become a community performing arts center. We have a number of performing arts organizations in town that already have interest in taking up residency there. So that's going to be very, very exciting. The city's going to keep the 2 gyms as well as all the ball fields. There's huge need for both practice gyms and competition gyms and ball fields in South Huntsville. The Parks and Recreation is very eager to get hold of that. And that whole property back there is going to be reworked to link to greenways. The old part of the building is going to be torn down, and a new library is going to be built there. Beautiful new 2-story library. We held a town hall meeting last night at Daly Cove Library. We have meeting space there for 50 people. It was jam-packed. It was very evident to everyone. We need
a place to meet.
Good meeting space.
Yes.
And this library has been created to have those kind of meeting spaces. So there are those 2 projects. The third project is the construction. It is a painful process, but we're going to make it go as quickly as possible.
And they are moving
They are
quickly.
moving really, really fast. It's a 24/7 contract, which means they can work all day, every day, and they're taking full advantage of that.
Yeah.
It also has incentives built into it.
Okay,
for every day they finish before the 3.5-year deadline. They can earn incentives every day afterwards. There are fines, and they're taking that very seriously. It's also projects that's being shared 50-50 between the city and the state.
Okay.
So the city has a lot of input into it. Very different from the Weatherly Road overpass, which everyone remembers. That was a 10-year build. It was awful, and it was the city had no input. It was solely funded by the state. Funding went, funding didn't go, and this is a fully funded project, shared with input by the city, helping be managed by the city, and it's going to be difficult for 3 years, but it'll be wonderful when it's done. We'll have overpasses at Logan, at Bird Springs Road, and the Martin Road interchange is going to be, or Martin Road Bridge is going to become an actual interchange and be reworked entirely. It will help traffic flow tremendously.
Great.
So that's the third project. The next project is Ditto Landing.
Oh, yes.
Ditto is in the process of hiring an executive director. We anticipate hearing announcement on that very shortly. And once that director is in place, that person can then take the plan that's been created that will take Ditto, which is currently just a 30-acre marina and 20 campsites, and expand it to a 600-acre recreation destination. It's really, it's Huntsville's backyard, and it will be a tremendous asset, because that in turn will then spur growth on the very southern part of the South Parkway with hotels and restaurants and retail that will serve that destination.
Great tourism pull too.
It will be wonderful. And so then the fifth thing that we're working on is probably more long-term, because as these others all come together, and they're all due to come together within about the same time frame, about 3 years, then we will be able to do extensive renovation and revitalization of the retail on the South Parkway, particularly the Hazing Square area and the southern and south of that, where we see a little bit more depressed, blighted area. The paint is peeling on the South Parkway, and we need to do some work.
You're hearing a lot about Hazing Square, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty evident to everyone.
But I think that, your message to your constituents is what? It's going to happen.
Oh, it is. I think everyone is aware of it. There are certain legal issues right now that need to be resolved, but those can be resolved within the next 3 years. So when those overpasses are done, that the work that needs to be done there can go forward.
Great. You talked, and I had an opportunity last evening to attend your town hall meeting, and it was packed. Lots of energy, lots of information.
And it was very positive.
It was positive. It was positive. I liked the presentation from the city and of course the state, LDOT, and of course you had the mayor there. It was wonderful.
Well, you know, one of the things I discovered when I was on the school board, I would do monthly meetings with the PTA presidents in South Huntsville and eventually it merged to their friends too, on topics, because I found that if you don't share information with people, they make it up.
Yes.
And so that's what I've tried to do, and last night was that effort. There are lots of people grumbling and complaining about South Park, but once they understand the context of why we're doing it, how we're doing it, and that the impact is going to be 3.5 years, not 10 years, and that it will be better once it's done, I think everyone felt better about it.
And you know, one of the things I felt really positive about is how you handled and talked with those businesses that are being impacted. I mean, that's a real concern, but I think you handled that very honestly and openly.
Well, those businesses have been a concern. That was one of the things I started hearing during the election, as those businesses knew that construction project was imminent. It's been on the books for 20 years, and they finally knew it was going to be coming. So David Martin, who owns Rosie's, was actually one of the people who expressed tremendous concern, and he was the one that suggested getting those businesses together to become advocates. And so as soon as the election was over, I went to David and said, remember that business group you talked about? I want to start a business association.
Great.
So we started the South Huntsville Business Association with help from some of the other business owners over there. It is an incredibly active group. I am so proud of the ownership they've taken and how they have moved forward. They created the documents that we shared last night at the town hall meeting, which included detailed drawings of the project. Foresight Engineering is one of those South Huntsville businesses, and Jerry Cargile took it on himself, and he created a document that shows the timeline, the designs, and contact information. They're going to launch a campaign, a Shop South Huntsville campaign. South Huntsville businesses are alive and well during the construction. We need to support those businesses. The mayor said last night that he's eating his way up and down the South Parkway.
I know, that was cute.
Visiting all the restaurants, but maybe all the rest of us could take that as well, that we'll make a special effort. If we have a choice of going downtown or going to Rosie's or to Blue Plate or to Casablanca or to Main Street Cafe, we make that choice to go there. And,
that's right. And why not support them?
And make a conscious effort to support those businesses.
And talking about supporting local people, also the construction people are local, are they not? Miller
and Reed are both local companies with a local presence here. And ALDOT has also made an effort to establish a local presence here. They have a communications person contact that they have actually relocated to Huntsville so that he can be here, and he was brave enough to put his name and contact number on that sheet that the South Huntsville Business Association has put out. So it has been, it's a great local effort.
And he's got a great personality. He's going to do well. Yeah, that's important. A couple other things. The city council members are appointed to 10, if I'm not mistaken, 10 different boards and committees. Which ones are you on, and what do you bring? How do you affect those boards?
I have been appointed to the Planning Commission and to the zoning subcommittee of the Planning Commission. Actually, before I was on the City Council, I had been appointed by Mayor Spencer to the Subdivision Planning Committee 10 years ago. So because she wanted a connection with the school system. So I'm no stranger to planning, but I was never on the commission itself. I was just on the subdivision committee. So now I'm actually sitting on the planning commission, and it has been very interesting to get that bird's eye view of how Huntsville is growing and developing, and the challenges, the policy challenges of adopting to that. There have been lots and lots of changes in the ordinances that as the Planning Commission tries to catch up to or as the Planning Department catches up to growth. We have great people, really innovative, visionary folks working in planning, and it's been great to work with them. I also serve on the Metropolitan Planning Organization with the mayor, and with Mayor Trulock and Mayor Cottle from Tiana, and representatives from ALDOT, and we're looking at the regional plan for infrastructure. So this would be looking at all the road projects that are going on, not only the 50-50 projects, but all the projects that the state has, including some long-range projects such as the Eastern Bypass, the Eastern Arsenal Connector Southern Bypass, which is the road that is going to come off of Jordan Lane and run along the Arsenal fence all the way down to Green Cove Road, and then eventually hook up and go on to Scottsboro.
We've heard about that for years, haven't we?
We have heard about it for
Yes.
years, but here's what's interesting. So yesterday when I was looking at the engineering design for the Hazeland extension, which will take Weatherly Road and wrap it all the way down to Redstone Road, on that plan was the drawing for the Eastern Arsenal Connector that will actually hook into this road. So I think it's going to be here sooner than maybe we have thought it would be. It's going to be a reality, because we're going to get to the point where, with the growth of Huntsville going from 350,000 people in our metropolitan area to 500,000 people in 7 years, 565 simply isn't going to be able to handle all that. And so this will offload 565 and create a better traffic flow for everybody.
Great, great, great. While we're talking about committees and boards, there are about 59 boards also that the city has. And you, as a city council person, have the opportunity to appoint certain members. And there's people in your district that want to serve on various boards. How would one go about that? And are there qualifications?
Well, you know, that was one of those things where the board appointments were a great mystery to me and to everybody, but I think it is. And having come on the council, it's still a great mystery how it works. There's a big old Excel spreadsheet where we appoint everybody from the bingo commission to the tree commission to the whatever. And then we have agencies, the Ditto Board, the Authority Board, the Hospital Authority Board, the Airport Authority Board. So trying to keep track of all those, our administrative staff manages it very, very well, because the terms all change differently, and there are different requirements for them. So what I've done is I scan that list to see what the appointments are and who's coming up. And every once in a while, a vacancy will occur because a board member has resigned. So we have to stay on top of that. The one I'm working on actually right now is the library board. South Huntsville has not had a representative on the library board for over 15 years.
Is that right?
So I'm working really hard right now.
Yes.
To get a South Huntsville representative on that board, and it just happened that I got an email from a constituent saying, I'm interested. If there is ever an opening, let me know. Happened to be an opening. And so I nominated Bill Pippin, who was the former director of Huntsville Utility, to the library board at the meeting last week. And that, of course, the council has to approve and vote on that in 2 weeks. But I'm very conscious of having South Huntsville represented on those boards. The library board is a particularly important one for us to have representation right now, because we're working on the new library project. And I'd love to have somebody who is familiar with that project on that board.
That's great. That's great. And I know Bill. He'll make a great contribution.
He would be a tremendous.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Just as Bill contacted and said, hey, if there's ever an opening, here's my interest. I'd love to hear from people and know what their interests are, so that we can have that representation.
And that helps me to go right into my next question, and that is, if people are wanting to contact you about anything, give them your information.
Really, the best way to do it is via email, and my city email is Jennie, Jennie, .Robinson @huntsvilleal.gov. That's really the best way to do it. I do have a day job, and so I'm at my office for my day job a lot of the time. But I'm constantly checking email. We have a wonderful administrative staff in our office who relays messages to me, and we kind of can work virtually to make it all work. But email is the best way to get hold of me.
Now, what's your office hours? Do you have office hours?
I'm always there before the council meetings.
On Thursdays.
Usually on Thursdays, I spend Thursday afternoons there because there is so much last-minute stuff. But my office hours otherwise are by appointment. I was there yesterday for a couple of hours meeting with people, about 3 hours in the afternoon. So I'm fortunate that I do have the flexibility with my day job to be able to take that time and go up there when I'm needed.
And we'll put that information up on the screen as well. Dr. Robinson, time is running short, and my producer is telling me, wind it up, Brenda, wind it up, But
Thank you.
We're going to have you on again.
Oh, I would love to
real
do that.
soon, because there's so much going on in the city. I'd like some members on every so often to give an update.
And there is a lot going on, so I would be happy to come back and give you an update.
Okay, great. Thanks again for being here with us today.
Thank you.
My guest today has been the Councilwoman Dr. Jennie Robinson, who represents District 3 in the city of Huntsville. It's been my pleasure to bring you another episode of Inside Huntsville. I'm Brenda Martin. Enjoy your day.